Hi, welcome to November. This month at Yoga Loka, we're going to be working on Uptavista Konasana, also known as side split. In side split, we're going to be stretching the adductor muscles, and this is a large group of muscles that run from the pubic bone down through the thigh bone. One of them actually runs all the way below the knee joint. This group of muscles, the adductor muscles, along with the iliopsoas muscles, are the ones that contract and pull the body in towards center when we are in danger or we're nervous or scared about something. They do a great job too. They mobilize the body into either fight, flight, or freeze response, and they're doing what they're supposed to, that is protecting the organism. The problem is when these muscles are habitually tight and we lose this range of motion to open up. So when we're working in the preparation poses for this full side split, we may feel a little bit vulnerable. So it's usually we want to work very slowly and gently. And as a companion to all of these preparation exercises we're going to be doing, we're also going to be listening to the writings of Pema Chodron. Pema writes beautifully about the human condition, and she emphasizes vulnerability as actually a method towards our awakening. In fact, she says that we should welcome the rawness of vulnerability as a means towards opening. So that's what we're going to do this month. We're going to open up and listen to Pema Chodron. We're going to show you a few modifications so that this pose is available to everybody. We're going to start with Laura up on a chair, and Laura's just going to start to slide her legs out just as wide as she's comfortable doing. It doesn't have to come out very wide at all. And this right here may be enough of a stretch for her. I'm going to ask her to press her lower back forward so she's more in a dog tilt, because we're also going to be strengthening the hip flexors as we practice this pose. So to emphasize the stretch in the inner thigh, she's going to go one at a time. So she's going to press this hand into her inner knee, and she's going to turn to look over the opposite shoulder. And as she presses this knee away, she's going to feel more of a stretch in the inner thigh. She'll take maybe a breath there, and then she's going to come in the other direction. And she's going to push away, and she's going to stretch that leg. She's going to put her shoulder in. She also gets a little bit of a twist, and a little like Bob Fosse type of movement here. How does that feel? Good. Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, so we have Warren here, and this, as he told me earlier, is not his best pose, which is exactly why I wanted him here to demonstrate. So as you can see, Warren has a little bit of trouble sitting upright here. His knees are a little bit bent, which is fine for our purposes, and his legs aren't very far away, which is also fine. But because it's a bit of a struggle for him to sit up here, I'm going to actually have him pulse in and out in cat and dog tilt. So I gave him blocks here because he's up kind of high on blankets, and he's going to put his hands on the blocks, and as he exhales, he's going to pull his belly back and round his lower back. And then as he inhales, he's going to press his hips forward. You see how his knees bend, and that's because of the shortness of the muscle tissue here. But after some time, that's all going to start to open. And so every time he goes back, he's going to let everything rest. And when he comes forward, he's contracting the hip flexors and also feeling more of a stretch in the inner thighs. Is that correct? Is that what you're feeling? That's correct. So now he gets to rest out of it, and now he's going to push up, and he's going to go into the stretch, and then he's going to ease out of the stretch. So contraction here, stretch here, and he's reaching out through his heel, his inner ankles a little bit, which is also assisting with the stretch. Thank you. And so Victoria is going to demonstrate a modification for us. This pose is a bit of a struggle for her. She says when she does it, it's a lot of stretch in the inner thigh, and it's a little crampy in her outer hips. So instead of her suffering in this position for the whole month, we're going to have her pull her heel in towards her groin, and she's just going to do one side at a time. And taking one leg in like that should make the whole pose feel a little bit more comfortable. Is that true? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So she's going to reach out through her inner ankle. She's going to emphasize her toes moving out, and then she's going to press her pelvis forward. So do you feel more of a stretch in your inner thigh? Yeah. And she can even take her hands down and rest down there. She could take a few breaths there, or she could do what Warren was doing and kind of do some cat and dog tilts. And as before, when she takes her lower back forward in the dog tilt, she's going to stretch a little bit more, and when she comes out of it, it's going to ease up that stretch. And so if the class is holding the pose for like 8 breaths, she could do 4 on this side and 4 on the other side. How does that feel? Yeah, great. Okay, and Anne is going to show us a fuller version of the pose. So she's okay in this position without using a blanket. Her sit bones are flat down on the ground. And she's going to take her hands forward, and she's going to start to come forward a little bit. She's going to emphasize also the lower back pulling forward, because that's going to directly affect how the muscles are moving, because they're connected to the pubic bone. So she's going to come forward, she's going to take her time, there's no rush, she doesn't have to flatten anything anywhere. And she should be feeling a stretch in the inner thighs, is that correct? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And she's going to keep her feet flexed, and she's going to roll her feet out a little bit and reach out through the inner ankle. And wherever she feels comfortable, she can just pause there, she can breathe. She can let her head drop if she wants to. And she can just kind of hang out here as long as she wants. And now we're going to show the restorative version of this pose. It's many people's absolute favorite pose. So Cindy's going to start with her back on the ground and her hips to the wall and her feet straight up. And she's just going to open her legs out to the side. She's going to take her time. She's going to find a place that's comfortable. And she's just going to rest there. She can leave her arms alongside her body. She can take her hands onto her belly and feel that her abdominal muscles are lifting when she breathes in and lowering when she breathes out. And when it's time for her to come out, she's going to take her hands to the outside of her legs and use her hands to draw her legs to close. So everybody feeling open and vulnerable?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're all feeling really good, right? How about you? Doing okay? Remember that embracing our vulnerability does require practice. So we'll see you in class in November.
Hari